Cool storylines across the board. We're ready to hear questions. Raise your hand. We'll come around. Don, you get to start.
Don Coble from Morris News Service. Scott, your emotions for finally getting 5, and the fact that Hurley was one of the first ones there to, to greet you and to congratulate you.
It was, it's just just an incredible day, all the way around with winning with these guys, winning with Chip, with Telmex, with BMW, and then at the end of it, I've gotten to know Hurley real well over the years by racing with him and just as a friend, and to have him there at the end was pretty special, very special thing.
All right, more questions? Over here, please. It's Holly in the front.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. This is for Juan and Scott, separately, obviously. Scott, how hard was it for you to watch someone else close this out today, knowing, what everyone had on the line? And Juan, how much did you want to do that, and how much of a good feeling was it to close the deal like you did?
Okay. Well, it's no secret that I've gotten pretty beat up over the years, especially in NASCAR, in IndyCar. And I don't know, for some reason my left ankle was bothering me a lot. It was really painful, and sometimes that happens. And I knew I could go out and run a fast pace, but I wasn't confident that if I had to go head-to-head, some real hard, close racing, that I'd have enough strength in my ankle, be able to get it done. And I told Timmy, I said, I don't want to do this, but for the good of the team, we need to do it because we don't know how this thing's going to unfold. We don't know who's going to be there at the end. And, I got in and ran, a couple stints right there at the end and put us in a solid position. Juan got in and just did a tremendous job. So that's one of the things when you get together with, a group like this with Memo, with Charlie, with Juan. Don't try to be Superman. We got some very incredible, talented guys that can step in and close it out. So I'm just proud to be part of the team, and it was exciting to finish up on top.
Juan.
Once there was a lot of pressure. I thought, we have a decent lead. We're just gonna go out there and ride for 2.5 hours or whatever was left, and then you realize there's a caution, and then another caution, and then another caution. And with the way the rules are, and the speed the car had, it's like you didn't want to get in what you call pitching contest with anybody. You had to be smart about when you passed them and everything. So I was always careful on the restarts. And, I took my time to pass people. When they told me 9 was going to get a penalty, I rode behind for a couple laps, and as soon as they went in, I caught up the 10 car in half a lap, and a lap later passed him and drove away. And we were kind of concerned about the 6 car, what they were going to do with fuel, because they told me they could make it to the end and that we were going to have to push. And we pushed like crazy and opened a hell of a gap. It was fun.
All right, more questions for our champions. We have one. Go ahead. Coming to you. And we'll go to Jenna after this. Go ahead.
Steve Conley, MotorRacingDigest.com. Charlie, there are 3 professional race car drivers in the world that race as a diabetic. Coming into your first 24-hour race, can you talk about what you had to change as far as your preparation for this race to stay in line with your treatment of diabetics?
Well, in an IndyCar race, you're in the car for maximum 3.5 hours. In a 24-hour race, they could call you to come jump in the car, even though they've got a plan of when you're going to drive and not. Usually when the green flag flies, that plan goes straight out the window. So I had to make sure that I was prepared and ready and conscientious about where my blood sugar was and when I was injecting and what I was eating and making sure that I was getting the nutrition I needed, but also made sure that my blood glucose was where it was supposed to be for that whole 24 hours. For those last 4 hours when Scott was finishing up his stints and Juan was getting ready to climb in to close it out, then I could relax a little bit. But until then, even all day Friday night, Saturday morning, was really having to pay attention and focus on being prepared and as regimented as possible in a race that's typically very unregimented.
Okay, more questions. I think we're coming right over here. Coming to you.
Jennifer, AP, two questions, and the first one's for Charlie. Charlie, did you only do one stint?
I did 2 stints, but once in the car, yeah.
Okay, once in the car. Just your experience, your first time with racing with a roof, and the pressure of this and the pressure of being with these guys. I mean, how did you find the whole experience?
Well, I think on the pressure side, having these guys as teammates takes a heck of a lot off my shoulders, because I knew that I could settle in, and as long as I was smart and didn't make too many big mistakes, that and kept us in the race, they'd put us in a position to win at the end. Overall, what an incredible race, though. I mean, it's unbelievable. And with about 4 hours to go, I looked up and thought, we have the whole Indy 500 left to run as far as time. And my second thought was, why do they only do this once a year? Because what an incredible, it's hard on everybody, mechanics, team, drivers, but it's such an awesome event and such a great race. And just to be a part of it with these guys and learn from these guys, I think it'll help me not only in this side with a roof, but also without a roof.
And then staying sort of in the pressure theme, moving down the table to Juan, a big year for you because I think you want to perform better in your full-time job. Can you talk about what this means for you and what kind of momentum, if any, it can give you?
I think it's good. I think, I think personally it's a boost knowing, getting the job done. The last few years, we finished second, we finished fourth, we finished third. We've been there all the time, and it's been painful. It's like you get so close, and and the last 2 season cups were pretty hard. I think testing's gone really, really well over the last couple of months with the new car, and it seems like we got a lot more speed than we had last year. So it's encouraging. I'm very, very conservative to see how good we're going to be, but we're probably 80% better prepared than last year. That is good. Everybody, we had to hire a ton of new people last year, and now everybody's working together. Everybody understands their job and what needs to be done. So it's been pretty good.
Do you think you're racing for your job this year?
I think you always race for your job. I mean, it's normal.
Holly K, NASCAR.com. One more quick one for you, Juan. It's kind of what I was asking AJ. Did it help at all because you have raced AJ in the past, so you could maybe kind of anticipate or what to expect on some of those restarts? You knew him.
I think we both been doing NASCAR for a while, and you learn the give and take, and you learn to share the racetrack, and that's something here people don't do. You know what I mean? It's like you're beside them, and they turn like you're not even there, and that's kind of shocking, but it's what it is.
Go ahead.
It's Don again here. Juan, was it kind of frustrating in that last hour with the cautions and all the restarts, and did it almost remind you of a NASCAR race?
No, it was, I don't know, you keep your head cool, and you know what you need to do, and that's it. You want to, with the speed we had in the car, it felt like we didn't have to take any risk. We had to be, go through a decent restart and then go for it.
Go ahead, back to the back.
I think you just kind of answered that, Juan. Just how good a feeling is it when you know you're faster than the guy in front of you, and you know that as soon as you get your chance, that it's just a matter of time as long as you don't, mess it up?
But that's one of the cool things about doing the 24 hours with Chip is every year you come here, you're a favorite. Whether you win or not, you're always a favorite, and you always have a chance of winning. And then, everybody that races for Chip and comes here and, finds that out. It's fun, it's exciting, and, I feel bad for the guys in the O2 because they had a ton of speed, and it could have been easily a 1-2.
Okay, the gentleman here in the middle.
Hi, this question for Scott. Scott, it's been a little while since we saw you across the Le Mans 24 Hours. The rumours are we might see Daytona prototypes racing there in a couple of years' time. What about bringing this car, this team, and having another class win?
I think it would be, it'd be tremendous. I think that's one of the frontiers that Chip hasn't yet conquered or really got himself involved in the middle of, but also one that he would like to take on for sure. Especially with the relationship we have with BMW, it would be a natural to head on over there. And I certainly would like to go back. 'Cause, just like the Daytona 24-hour, the Rolex, the Mont 24 it's interesting because they're really different. The races themselves, one's on a 3.5-mile track, one's on an 8-mile track, as you know, and the ebb and flow is a bit different. But overall, with everything coming together like it is, and I know one of those things that Chip hasn't yet achieved is going over to Europe and racing at Le Mans. I know that he would jump at that chance, and I would too.
Okay, we have Jenna, then in the back, then Joe.
For Memo and Scott, just how important or how big of a deal is it to open the year with the win and get the points and go into the rest of the season like that?
Well, it is obviously, the best way you can start the year because, first of all, we're on the points lead, and second, it's great as far as motivation for everyone in the team. The crew works so hard at the shop, first of all, to prep for this race. And, our season ends at the beginning of October, and, immediately they start working on 24 hours. The cars get stripped apart, and it's